And let's talk about L.A. Reid. So, yeah, I mean, I meant to bring this up the other day, but I never got around to it. But now I guess we got a conclusion on it, so we could talk about it. So, yeah, last week I remember hearing stories that L.A. Reid was set to go to trial, in regarding these accusations that he SA'd Drew Dixon, who was a former Arista executive, and she said that he assaulted her back in 2001. So they were supposed to go to trial. L.A. Reid is somebody who is legendary in the music industry. He has been behind so many iconic people such as well, he's got a lot of credit. So Method Man and Mary J's classic "I'll Be There for You," whereas "You're All I Need to Get By," when they used that sample. First of all, that was my song, and Mary was hiding Cooter Brown in that damn music video. I'm sure Method Man was too. But nevertheless, so he's been behind him. I mean, them, Usher, that sort of thing. Well, apparently he settled the SA lawsuit against Drew Dixon. And then they said on the day their Manhattan federal court trial was scheduled to begin. So when they were supposed to start the trial, I guess they pulled in and was like, look, LA wants to make a deal. Here's what we got. And then she's got to come in with her counter offer, and they meet somewhere in the middle. So Reid's attorney, Imran H. Ansari, said in an email, Mr. Reid has amicably resolved this matter with Ms. Dixon without any admission of liability. We are happy to report that this settlement has been reached, the terms of which are confidential, Dixon's lawyer, Kenya Davis, said outside the courtroom Monday afternoon. So does this mean that she can't bring this up ever again because she settled? They said Drew has been one of the most courageous and outspoken supporters of survival of SA, David added. Her advocacy, including her instrumental role in advancing the Adult Survivors Act, has helped shift the balance of power in the music industry, creating a path to justice for survivors. Davis's comment came shortly after she, Dixon, several members of Dixon's family, and other attorneys left the courthouse. While the trial was slated to start this morning, the group could be seen conferring in the courthouse cafeteria for several hours. Now, they said Dixon smiled when they announced the statement. Oh, sorry, the settlement. I am deeply grateful to my mother and children for their enduring love and support, Dixon said following Davis's announcement. Dixon, who worked as VP of A&R at Arista Records, sued Reid in November 2023, claiming that he started harassing her almost immediately after he became CEO in 2000. This harassment, Dixon alleges, was swiftly followed by SA. Dixon insists in court papers that she rejected Reid's unwanted overtures and accused him of trying to derail her career in response. He even thwarted her attempts to sign and keep artists, including John Legend, her suit alleges. I hear that legendary story about the fact that she was really trying to push to get John Legend signed to her, and then Ellie Reid basically was like, no. Where was I? Okay, then it said Reid has denied Dixon's claims in court papers. Dixon alleged that the disgraced hip hop mogul Russell Simmons. Oh, she also said that Russell Simmons R-worded her in a 2017 New York Times article, and in her account alleged that harassed her. Reid did not address her complaints directly, but apologized if his words were misrepresented per the Times. I can't stand when people say, "Oh, if my words were misconstrued, I apologize." It don't sound like that's what you meant, because it's like you sidestepping with some BS. And L.A. Reid, child, I thought that man was a homosexual. You out here abusing women? Another thing was I believe this with L.A. Reid, just like I believe allegedly, like I believe the tea regarding Russell Simmons. Because look, Kimora had to go and drag his ass when they was going through it recently, and she was like, well, why you hiding in another country? If you big and bad, why you hiding in another country? Why you in Bali? Bring your ass back to New York and fight these cases. Because you ain't been supporting, giving no child support for your children. I mean, I guess they old enough at this age, but she was like, "Yeah, I'm the one that's a single mother out here." And then he accused her of a bunch of other stuff. Okay, hold on. So we got further details. So Dixon claimed in her suit that Reid started harassing her not long after she started at Arista in 2000. She alleged that the initial inappropriate behavior, included Reid asking her to attend industry events with him and his wife and assist them in finding an apartment. Dixon said that in the suit that she felt it was odd request, but thought perhaps he was planning to use his home as an extension of his office. So she agreed. Dixon arrived at their one apartment showing and learned Reid's wife was not there. During the entire afternoon of showings, Mr. Reid made flirtatious comments. It was so pervasive that it caused the realtor to comment to Miss Dixon privately that he was left with the impression that Mr. Reid was in love with her, according to court papers. I would have been like, look, now maybe what she probably had was that what do you call it? The Oh my God, the realtor. I don't know why I couldn't think of the damn word. The realtor, I would be like, oh, let's call him to the stand, find out where he at, and bring him to the. Lawyers, they're good at tracking, or the Kalinda Sharmas of the law firms can go and y'all know the good wife. When you go and find that person and serve them, be like, okay, we're gonna have to have you testify. And then this whole, even though it was like 20 some odd years ago, but still. So they said in 2001, Dixon wound up alone with Reid on an airplane and Reid to a company gathering to Puerto Rico. She believed having other Arista executives would be going with them, according to court papers. Reid, she contends, began flirting with her right away. Dixon claims she went to the bathroom to buy time waiting for the other executives to arrive. She exited the restroom and found herself alone with Reid. He asked her to sit next to him to go over materials for the presentation, and then he began playing with her hair, kissing her, and digitally penetrating not her vulva, child, without her consent. She contends in her suit. Miss Dixon spent the rest of the flight in a daze. When she came back to New York City, Dixon attempted to dodge his overtures without offending and upsetting him, but he retaliated, according to the lawsuit, embarrassing her in front of others or otherwise being curt and unprofessional. In a few months, Reid insisted that Miss Dixon join him for a ride to drop her at home so they could continue to discuss work. Dixon thought nothing would happen since there was a driver in the vehicle. Reid, however, began to grope and kiss Miss Dixon, who squirmed and pushed him away as Mr. Reid's driver stared straight ahead and would again digitally penetrate Miss Dixon's vulva. What is up with him and the vulvas, chair? But at least he know where it's at. Um, M the funny thing is she was like, "Oh, no, I don't think anything will happen because of the driver." I'm like, "Sir, I mean, sis, the driver works for him. So I'm sure that them drivers, them people that work behind the scenes, they've seen it all. When they working for that person, they know that money is good, they're gonna look the other way." So maybe she was naive to think that, but the driver worked for LA Reid, so you weren't going to be protected under that. But I understand, like, you were thinking something different. It was 25 years ago. We don't know. We can't say we know then what we know now. Now we know what we could have known back then because times was different. But look, she got her coins. They settled. He did it. I truly believe he did it. Um, Then they say following the settlement, Dixon said that she was looking forward to getting back to what she loves, saying music has always been my greatest source of comfort and joy. Even as a kid, I had an uncanny knack for predicting the next cool artist or album. The more eclectic, the better. That was always a gift I had too, where I was able to predict the next cool artist or album. Like I would always get that gut feeling. Okay, that bitch is gonna be a well. I'm just saying bitch in general. That bitch is gonna be a star. I'm talking both genders. And it said, while I have focused on SA advocacy in recent years, I have never stopped fighting for my place in the industry. I have big ideas for future projects that will be guided by creativity and integrity. And so, shout out to you, Drew. Hopefully, you get to continue what you've been doing. LA Reid, you're a disgraced piece of shit. I do believe every word she said because a lot of you moguls in this industry are just nasty, like to control situations and always want to be out here flexing your power and wanting to have what you always wanting what you can't have. And you couldn't have her, so you decided to abuse her. And my thing is, if you ain't do all these things, why did you settle? So it smells guilty to me. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, the thing is not going to trial. They settled, which basically says guilty in my eyes. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.